Hello, players. This is Thomas, the DM. I am going to walk you through right now how to make a character on D&D Beyond for the D&D server that we have on Discord, the Atheros Honua one. So I've got the link here. I'm entering the URL, and here we go. So it pops up, Honua Jewel of the East, Brogmir or Droon, that's me, has invited you to join. We're going to hit create a character. All right. So first you have the opportunity to name your character. If you want, you can put in a name or you can just randomize. We'll randomize. Sources. Turn off everything except homebrew content. Everything else off. Or sorry, for sources. Just homebrew content. Dice rolling, leave that on. Optional class features, go ahead and leave these off. Milestone, you're going to want to change that to XP. And then confirm this. This is just basically saying, hey, you're gonna, restart your current level. That's fine, because you're at level 1 right now. Hit point type, leave that as fixed. That's your hit points as you level up. Leave these all on. Your prerequisites, your level scaled spells, leave that on. Leave encumbrance on. Ignore coin weight. Leave the modifiers on top here. Although really, that's you'll want to leave the modifiers on top. And then public, make sure that this is public. Clearly, if it's not public, neither me nor the bot will be able to read it. Okay, choosing your race. Now then, if you have already selected the homebrew on the previous page, then the Atheros races should be here, the races and the sub-races. If you have not, then you've done something wrong. Keep in mind, as you should see and have already read, you should have already read this, in the race info channel, you can only select the races that are listed in the race info channel tab. So take a look at the race info. Make sure that the race you select is one of the races that's listed there. So no Ganassi. Those aren't allowed in this game. But let's say that we make a fire snake, though. Let's just pick a fire snake here. All right, D&D Beyond loads. It's just taking a second because I've got OBS running as well right now. There it goes. Okay, so we're taking a look at these guys. These are all of their racial feats. They have +2 to intelligence. They have another ability score increase down here because they're a sub-race. So they have +2 intelligence, +1 wisdom. We can check all of all of their other stuff here too. You should also see under the race info page, under the race info channel, there's a pin there that has to do with languages. Some of you may, as a result of your background or your race, get an additional language. Make sure you check the languages that are spoken in Atheros and the language analogs, because there are some homebrew languages that are not in the D&D Beyond system. So we are using some replacements for them. You can find the list of those replacements in the race info channel. So check the pinned messages there. Okay, but in this case, Ator, I believe that we will need to change that. It's going to be Aroka. That's what we have it listed on here anyways. I tried to just make all of the alternate languages start with the same letter as their replacement language, so it's easy to find. Okay, we're just going to say this is a Fire Snake Wizard. Okay, we're going to add our class here. Taking a look at our hit points here, we'll figure out our ability scores and everything in a moment. But for now, we have some proficiencies from being a wizard. Let's just choose Arcana and how about religion? They know a lot about some of the state religion of the Serpent People. All right, and then here are their wizard abilities. You guys are going to be starting at level 1. You can make it higher here on this drop-down menu, but guess what? If you do, your character won't get approved, so I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, we picked our proficiencies. Let's go over here. So, ability scores. You can do point buy. You can do point buy if you want. You can, min-max a little bit if you want to, but there is a little bit of a built-in min-max limit in that you can't point buy any lower than 8, and you can't go any higher than 15. So you are there. Standard array, you can use that if you want to as well, but I will just tell you right now that standard array, you can point by standard array. So standard array is point by. So whichever one you want to use is up to you, but essentially what I'm saying is we're doing point by. So let me just distribute things here. They're a wizard, so I'm just going to put my big one into intelligence. Well, you know, they've got actually that +1 to wisdom, so let's see here. And I got a +2 to intelligence, so I'll put a 14 there, and I'll put a 15 in wisdom. I've got 16 and 16, and then maybe a 12 into dex, so they've got some armor class. We can just have 10 strength, 8 charisma, because they're not like a talker or anything. We give them 13 con. We'll do 12. There we go. 12 constitution, and we'll say 9 charisma. There we go. All right. In fact, we could even shuffle this around a little bit more. We could do like 8 strength or 9 this in order to give ourselves some more dexterity or some more constitution. We could make this more min-maxy, but this is just how I'm going to leave it. So it shows us here how we're getting our different points from our score. So we have 16 points in intelligence with the +3 modifier, 14 from we just point bot, and then +2 from our race. So kind of gives you everything right there. Let's move on. All right, background, just normal backgrounds. We're going to say that this fellow was a sage. All right, so we already have a history skill proficiency, and I believe we are doubling up on our arcana skill proficiency here from our wizard thing. So we got another skill. Let's just get nature, because they spent some time in the jungle. Okay, and now we have some other alternate languages here. I believe the Marquesian, that's the analog for myrrh, so we'll give them that. And then another language, let's see. Giant, the language of the giants. There we go. It doesn't really matter. This is just a sample character. Okay, so you're starting equipment now. So you choose equipment here. Quarterstaff for a dagger. We'll say a quarterstaff. They've got a component pouch and a scholar's pack as well. Okay, so we're going to add all this starting equipment. Here we go. So after we've added this equipment, this is important. You need to make sure that you equip your equipment too. So we're going to wield this quarterstaff. There we go. Boom. We are now wielding it. You can also do that on your D&D Beyond character sheet, which you'll see in a moment. All right, so next, here we go. We're done. All right, so our character is now made. In the character approval form, it's going to ask you for a link, a URL, a link to your character sheet. You're going to want the link that you get from here. I'm going to click on this button right here, View Character Sheet. Here we go. It's loading up. There we are. Here is our first level fire snake, just a little quick wizard here that we made. So we're all set to go here. There we are. So you'll have to manage your spells. If you have spells, you need to figure out which spells you want. Get those. And then, so this is basically, you have your character made and set for approval. And just, we can copy the URL right from the top there. I'm just copying it right there. Boom. And we're set. I'm going to paste this URL. If I were submitting this character, I'd paste this URL in the form for approval. So that's everything. So make sure that you have those settings. Make sure you got to have the homebrew content on. Otherwise, you're not going to see the Atheros races. Make sure you have it set to public. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to participate. Make sure you have your experience set to XP instead of milestone. Take a look at race info for information about the languages, the available races, the analogs. Again, if you submit a race that's not on the race info sheet, don't expect a response from me. Don't expect me to say, hey, this race isn't available. Expect me to just not reply. So read the rules, comply with them, get it right, and I hope we all have fun. All right, I will see you all on the server, and I'll see your character approval forms in my inbox. Until then, take it easy.